Welcome to Lunar Persuasion Astrology. In today's video, we're going to look at the upcoming Mercury retrograde period from March 15th to April 7th, 2025 in the sidereal sign of Pisces. So this 22-day cycle is giving themes of reflection, reconsideration, and reworking of old ideas. But is Mercury retrograde really all that different from any other time? Superstition may have you believe that you must avoid signing contracts or going on important trips. But in Vedic astrology, a retrograde planet is simply more passive than it is active in nature. So the usual benefic qualities of Mercury are lessened, but not necessarily worse off. Messages might get lost in translation as the wires in your social network are crossed, or you may second guess a decision, changing your perspective at the last minute. This is because Mercury rules your thinking mind and ability to process information and discriminate between two choices, for instance. Later in the video, we'll look at where this energy takes place for you based on your natal chart. But historically, there have been major catastrophes that occurred during a Mercury retrograde. Probably the most famously known is the fated voyage of the Titanic. If we look at the chart of when the ship embarked on its journey of doom, we can see that Mercury was indeed retrograde. If the captain had the guidance of an astrologer that day to warn him of such a precarious period, perhaps they would have delayed the adventure altogether. See, we can see that Mercury was in the 10th house with Saturn, the planet of delay and restriction. As the ship departed, there was this massive displacement of water that almost caused a collision right there in the port. So this actually delayed the Titanic from embarking on its trip by about an hour. So in this Cancer ascendant chart, set for noon on April 10th, 1912 in Southampton, England, Mercury is the ruler of the 3rd and the 12th house. So the 3rd house is travel and the 12th house is loss. The 3rd house is also considered a house of death, as it is the 8th house from the 8th house of death and sudden transformation. This is known as a Bhavat Bhavam technique in Vedic astrology. But as they say, correlation does not imply causation, and this is very true for astrology as well. Instead, astrologers like to look for a confluence of indicators that would suggest an outcome. So through this awareness of knowledge provided by the wisdom of Vedic astrology, you can gain insight into how this Mercury retrograde period will be for you. So when trying to predict your personal level of chaos for this period, there are 3 important factors to consider. First, you want to look at the house Mercury is retrograding in. Mercury is in Pisces, so we'll look at what house Pisces is placed in your chart. Secondly, pay attention to the houses that Mercury rules in your chart. Mercury rules the signs Gemini and Virgo. These houses will feel the impact of the transit. And thirdly, just slow down. Don't be hasty and just take a beat before sharing that big idea or opinion with the world. You just might be glad you took a second to reconsider, rethink, and reassess in the moment. So before I go over where the retrograde will impact you based on your ascendant, I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Aries ascendant, this retrograde is in your 12th house. So this period may bring introspection, dreams, and subconscious fears to the forefront. It's a good time to reflect on any hidden motivations and let go of any old baggage you may be holding on to. Avoid impulsive expenses and just be mindful of misunderstandings in general, especially in your private conversations. Now, for you, Mercury rules your 3rd and 6th house. So this is a great time to reevaluate your communication patterns with siblings or colleagues. And work-related stress could produce misunderstandings, and that could arise during this time. So make sure to double check any paperwork or contracts to avoid errors. Double check before you send that email. And take time for solitude and meditation during this period. Reconsider how you approach your daily routines and communication, especially at the workplace. Taurus ascendant, this retrograde is in your 11th house. So this is a time to reflect on your friendships, your social networks, and your long-term goals. Miscommunications with friends or groups are likely at this time, and you may revisit old dreams or ambitions. This is a time to reassess their relevance. Now, for you, Mercury rules your second and fifth house. So, this is a time for reconsidering any financial strategies or investments. Creative projects or matters related to children might require more attention at this time. And it's really good advice to avoid any impulsive investments. You may want to reconnect with old friends or colleagues, but avoid those misunderstandings by making sure to communicate your message very clearly. Gemini ascendant, this retrograde is in your 10th house. So expect delays and misunderstandings in your career at this time. You may want to review your professional goals and reconsider any career strategies. Past professional connections may also resurface. Now, for you, Mercury rules your first and fourth house. So reevaluating personal goals and self-image is something you might do at this time. Matters related to your home or your mother, real estate, or just family in general may also be revisited or may need to be resolved. You're going to want to avoid making any major career decisions and use this time for strategic planning and reconsideration of your public image. Cancer ascendant, this retrograde is in your 9th house. So this is a period for reflecting on your beliefs, your higher learning, any long distance travel. And there could be delays in travel or issues in your educational pursuits. These things are possible. Now, Mercury rules your 12th and 3rd house, so be cautious with communication in any distant relationships you may have. And it's a good time to reevaluate your spiritual practices or those long distance connections. Now, double check your travel plans if you are going to travel, and any academic submissions if you're dealing with those sorts of things. Use this time for a philosophical reflection and revisiting any past learnings that you may have come across. Leo ascendant, this retrograde is in your 8th house, so expect an introspection related to shared resources, debts, or even just deep psychological concerns. Hidden issues may resurface that require your attention. And for you, Mercury rules your 11th and 2nd house. So this is a time to reconsider your financial goals and your social network dynamics. Unexpected expenses or outcome adjustments are possible, and really avoid any risky investments at this time or lending out money. It's a time to reflect on your joint ventures or inheritances with caution. Virgo ascendant, this retrograde is in your 7th house. So communication issues with partners or close associates are likely at this time. Past relationship issues may resurface, but this offers you a chance for resolution. Now, Mercury rules your 1st and 10th house, so this is a time to reevaluate your personal and professional identity. Career negotiations or contracts might require a second look. So approach relationship conflicts with patience, especially at work, and revisit partnership goals and professional alliances with a strategic mindset. Libra ascendant, this retrograde is in your 6th house. So this is a time to reflect on your health routines, your daily work habits, and service-oriented tasks. Workplace miscommunications or delays are likely at this time. And for you, Mercury rules your 12th and 9th house. So this is a time to reconsider spiritual practices or international matters. Hidden enemies at work could come to light. And you're going to want to avoid launching any new health regimens. Reassessing your daily routines and work dynamics for better efficiency is advised during this time. Scorpio ascendant, this retrograde is in your 5th house. So reevaluating your creative projects, your romantic relationships, and matters related to children. Old hobbies or past lovers may reappear at this time. And for you, Mercury rules your 11th and 8th house. So, reflecting on social circles and your shared financial matters could arise at this time. Unresolved debts or psychological issues may resurface. It's advised to revisit creative ideas, but avoid starting new projects. Approach romantic communication with caution and clarity. Sagittarius ascendant, this retrograde is in your 4th house. So, this is a period for reflecting on your home, your family, communications with your mother. Real estate transactions or home repairs could face delays at this time. And for you, Mercury rules your 10th and 7th house. So, reevaluating your career goals and your relationship dynamics. Professional contracts or partnerships might require renegotiation. And it's advised to avoid any major property decisions. Use this time to reconnect with family and reflect on your emotional well being at this time. Capricorn ascendant, this retrograde is in your 3rd house. So go ahead and expect some glitches in your communication, delays in travel, and just misunderstandings and overall with your siblings or even your neighbors, cousins, close friends. These are likely. Old writing projects might resurface if you've been working on a writing project. And for you, Mercury rules your 9th and 6th house. So it's a time to reconsider educational pursuits and your daily work routines. Be extra cautious with your travel plans and especially any international foreign communications. It's advised to double check all your written communications, and it's also a time to revisit those old ideas and educational goals with a fresh perspective, like a new set of eyes. Aquarius ascendant, this retrograde is in your 2nd house. So, this is a time to reflect on your financial matters, your family values, and your speech patterns. So, miscommunications within the family or financial errors are possible at this time. Mercury for you rules your 8th and 5th house. So, reevaluating investments, inheritances, any creative ventures, I should say. Emotional issues may need revisiting for healing. And it's advised to avoid any impulsive purchases at this time. And you're going to want to reassess your financial strategies and possibly any family dynamics really thoughtfully. Give it a good thought over. Pisces ascendant, this retrograde is in your 1st house. So this period brings self-reflection and reevaluation of your personal identity. You may feel uncertain about your goals or personal image. And for you, Mercury rules your 7th and 4th house. So relationship dynamics and family matters may require attention, especially with your mother or motherly figure. Misunderstandings with partners are also likely to arise. Now, it's advised to take time for self-care and introspection. Reconsider how you present yourself to the world, but avoid any drastic changes at this time.